Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about all new releases I am excited for in the month of May. So let's dive straight in. The first book I want to talk about is such an obvious one, and that is A Court of Wings and Ruin, the third and final installment in this first trilogy in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. There are going to be, I think, 3 more books after this one, but it's going to follow different characters than Feyre, Rhysand and Tamlin, but it's still going to be set in this world. But I am so excited for this. I have read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury, and I fell in love with this series after reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and obviously A Court of Wings and Ruin is a continuation of that. I love the cover, and as soon as I have money, I'm going to buy this. A Court of Thorns and Roses starts out with Feyre, who is poor and lives with her family in a little shack in the woods. She has 2 sisters and a father. Her mother has died a couple years before that, and she is the main caretaker of her family. Until she goes out hunting in the woods and accidentally kills a fae, and she gets taken by another fae, who is Tamlin, as a lifetime punishment for killing this fae of Tamlin's court. So she has to live out her human days in Tamlin's court and never see her family ever again. I was a fan of the first book, love the second book. I definitely think the first book is worth pushing through to get to the second book, and I cannot wait to see how Feyre's story will end in the third book. I am so excited. The next release I am so excited about. These are the 2 main releases I'm excited about this month. A Court of Wings and Ruin and Sad Girls by Leav. Leav is a poet, and she's one of my favorite poets ever, but Sad Girls is actually her first ever novel. Sad Girls is a YA book that is coming out on the 30th of May about a girl who suffers from panic attacks after she has told a lie and her classmate Anna has died because of it. But then Audrey meets a guy, Red, and she falls in love with him. But obviously there's going to be a very emotionally charged story, and I feel like this is going to be beautifully written because I love Leav's poetry, and I cannot wait to read her debut novel. I am obviously going to support her in this new journey of hers. The other books I'm going to be talking about, I am either currently reading or have already finished, and that's 4 books. So the first book I want to talk about is the one I read a while ago, and that is Dreamfall by Plum. This is the first book in the Dreamfall duology, and this one got me pumped. It left me with so many questions. I did expect this to be a series, so I was expecting this to be a standalone, and that was not what it is, but the author did such a great job, and I can honestly recommend it. This is a YA thriller, and I normally never delve into YA thrillers, but this one was so good. And Dreamfall follows all these characters who suffer from insomnia, and they go and participate in this experiment that will cure their insomnia. It's electroconvulsive therapy, so they will be hooked up to this machine and will get electric shocks sent throughout their body, and it should have cured their insomnia, but then the system shuts down and they all become comatose, which is a very scary thing. But they're all in the same nightmare. All these kids are together in a nightmare, and they have to experience each other's nightmares, and it's so creepy and scary. That's a plot twist I did not see coming. This one already came out on May 2nd. The next book is one I very recently finished, and that is Ramona Blue, which is a contemporary standalone by Julie Murphy, who's the author of Dumplin' and Side Effects May Vary, you may know her from also. But I thought Ramona Blue was a very exciting story. It's about a girl who is very secure in her sexuality. She's a lesbian and she knows it. She has blue hair, she's tall, she's definitely not your average main character, and she lives in a trailer. She's with a poor family, and she has a sister who is pregnant and also living in this trailer. At the beginning of this book, Ramona has a summer fling with a girl called Grace, but then Grace breaks it off. And meanwhile, Ramona's childhood friend Freddie comes back to Eulogy, Mississippi, where Ramona lives, and he is there to stay forever with his grandma. But then Ramona isn't so sure about her sexuality anymore. She doesn't know how to label herself because she slowly falls in love with Freddie, and she's asking herself if she can fall in love with girls and guys, or is it just girls and Freddie? I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I like this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. It didn't blow me away, but I thought it was a very fun read, and I especially loved the family aspects to it. I thought that was so great. I love the relationship between Hattie and Ramona, who are sisters. The next book I just finished, and this is Not Like It's a Secret by Misa Sugiura, which is also a YA contemporary romance standalone. This is actually a romance between two girls who are both biracial. One is Japanese American and the other girl is Mexican American. And obviously they fall in love with each other. This book has already come out on May 9th. I only rated 2.5 stars. I love the poems were incorporated in the story. Like the main character and the love interest wrote already existing poems like Emily Dickinson's poems to each other to express their feelings. But I wasn't a huge fan because I felt like it was mega insta-lovey, and there was also a guy who was in love with Sana, the main character, and then there was also cheating involved, and I was just not a fan. And the last book I want to talk about is one that is yet to come out on May 23rd, and that is Queer There and Everywhere, 22 People Who Changed the World by Sarah Prager. I thought it was a funny little book. It's obviously about 22 queer people who have changed the world in some way, and an example of this is Abraham Lincoln and Eleanor Roosevelt. And I love learning more about these characters, but it wasn't really in depth or anything. I discovered some new people, but it didn't really do much for me. I liked reading this, I had a fun time, and I rated it 3 stars because of it, but it didn't change my world, if you know what I mean. Also, fun fact, Sarah Prager is married to a woman, so this book could be considered own voices, sort of, because there are lesbian characters in this. Also, transgender, gay, non-binary, transvestite, literally everything is included in this. So these were the new releases I want to talk about. 4 of them I have already read and 2 of them I am really anticipating. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you've read A Court of Wings and Ruin. No spoilers please, but what did you think about it? Because I would love to know, because I can't watch all the discussion videos that have been coming out because I haven't read it yet. Anyway, rant over. Let me know down below what books you are most anticipating in May. I would love to know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!